Welcome to Project 15B, and in this exercise we want to show you how to take and make a flat pattern out of this cylinder here with an angular cut through it. Now what this is going to be an exhaust tip, which would be chrome plated to put on a vehicle, and of course in the factory this thing started out as a flat plate, and then they rolled it, and then they were able to fuse it together. So I want to show you how to go about making this as a flat pattern. Now you remember in project 15A how you had to take your circumference of this part. You had to figure out exactly what the length of this part was in circumference. So we're going to do the same thing here. First you had to take your diameter times pi, and that would give you your circumference, or you could basically in AutoCAD again go to your properties, and your circumference is 9.4248. So what I want to do is I want to shoot me a line actually. I think it would be much easier to put this one straight up as a top view, and this is the front view. We'll make this the right side view over here. I think it'll be much easier. Boom, boom, and then I'll just do a nearest in here to put this up. Alright, so again we said the circumference of this diameter, or of the arc, was, choose it first, make sure I choose the right line. The outside's what we want of this 1/8 inch material. Circumference is 9.4248. 9.2428. Offset, do a 9.4248, enter. And I don't want to do the circle, but if I hit offset it's automatically saved there. So hit this to there, and that is the total rollout of this. And after a while we'll have to add just a little bit on, so I'll have a little extra material to seam it. So now also what I want to do is bring me a line right here and bring this thing right across here, just like that. Alright, so now we've got the flat pattern figured out. However, we've got to put in here this ellipse. How's all this going to work out? And I'll show you here really quickly. And what you'll have to do is you'll have to mark this thing around in numbers like we have earlier. Okay. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to put me a line like right across here, and I want to name that line right there. That's going to be my number 1. So I want to put text here real quick beside of it. This is number 1, just like that. And then I want to do myself a array. I need to do a polar array, and I want to catch this and this and catch the center point, and I want to put that thing in there 8 times. Let's do 8. Alright, the more lines you have, the more accurate it's going to be. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and change some numbers here. Actually, probably better off we just take it and explode it. That way they're all individual entities. This would be 2. This one would be 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be 8. Alright, now so I'll chop that line. I'll put that line back in there. And I'm just going to trim up everything that I don't need on here for the time being. I don't need that anymore. So this is the flat pattern rolled out. Now we just got to figure out how this thing's going to come into play around here. So again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's 1. Now I always like to use my go in here to show menu bar. I'm going to go to format. I'm going to go to point style. Set my points up. I like to use this one right here. Absolute. We use 0.125. Standard size of points. Go to draw. Point. And come in here and grab that point on the exterior. Is where you want to put these at. Those are points, or also called nodes. And sometimes it's hard to see those because it lines want to parallel up to your object line. But at this point, we also come down here and we're going to divide this line right here. And I'll pull that back over, make sure it's lined all up. We're going to divide this line up right here 8 times as well. To do that, just hit draw, and there's a divide in your points. And ask you how many times you want to divide. You want to divide 8 times, enter, and then divide. Select object to divide. So click on this, and then you type in 8 times, and it separated out 8 times. And again, right here would be number 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Now, what you're going to do is, let's go ahead and let's get that fixed up too. This will be number 3. Now, all this stuff is going to coincide with each other, just like orthographics always do. Alright, at this point we have everything labeled. We got this all divided off evenly 8 times. We've got this divided off evenly 8 times. And what you do is you come over here and you use these numbers to draw everything in. Catch this point, bring this line straight up. Grab this point, bring this line straight up. This line straight up. This line straight up. Remember, hit that space bar to repeat. Makes things a lot easier. So now, you just match the letters up. You come down here and take like your number 1. Come down to this point and you come across. So this right here would be the first point. I want to put me a point on there. There's number 1. Here's number 2. Coming across there. It's easier to put your points on as you go. Line, here's 3. Catches that point there, comes across. Here's 4. And then here's line. Here's 5. That point, you bring it across up here to the main top. And then basically you could go around and do the rest of them, but what you're going to find is on this one it's just going to be a mirror image. So I just go in there and grab all these points. and then just do a mirror. So now I'll delete these lines out, delete all this out, delete these lines out, and you see how we got this up here? It's going to fold right up through here and around and back down. And real quick, I would use a polyline. Come in here and grab this point to this point to this point to this point. And I'll be honest with you, the more points that you have, the more accurate it's going to be. And then I just do a PE, polyline edit, grab my line, and I would do a fit. And like I said, the more points that you have on it, the more accurate it's going to be. Use the fit when you do a polyline edit. That follows, it allows it to follow exactly at the points. If you use a spline, it wants to kind of undercut. So this right here, now I'd get rid of this. I'd trim just like that. Now, whenever this thing closes up, now we've done a flat pattern. When this thing would close up, it would actually turn out just like this. And I want to show you something else. Just for instance, and I'm going to take and delete this off. If you wanted to put a cap on this, on the exhaust here, for some odd reason, if you want to put a cap on it, I'll show you how to do that. All you have to do is do yourself an auxiliary view off this arc here, and this thing, the diameter of this was let's check that out real quick. I'll show you how to do that. From there to there is 3 inches. So I want to offset 3 inches off of it and just shoot my lines off this point to this point. Again, from there to there. Come up here and use axis endpoint, catch this point to this point. Of course, you'd have an ellipse that looked like this, and that would be your cap right there. So you just take this, I'll put me a line through it, I'll mirror both of these lines. That way it makes it a lot easier to work with. When you do a rotate now, you've got all these off that to follow, so it'd actually be right there to that point. Rotate that. Do a mirror. Now I'm going to do a rotate right there. That puts that straight up and down vertically. What I do is I take this and I would just do a move, catch it right there at its base. Come just like that. And now I'm going to turn my nodes off. So you don't see them. And I'll take and I'll get rid of these numbers. And this would be without the cap. If you want the cap, you can put that on and he'll just fold right over top of it. You can add a little material on here extra if you need to do that to seam it in. But that's all there is to it.